This is an awareness test.
Hello? Do you want me to do it? I can if you want.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
If you want to take that over there, you can.
yeah.
Yeah. Is there any way turn these lights down a little?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. We really appreciate you coming out, especially this weather. Hopefully what happened was you saw the weather is we're really happy to sponsor this at St. Mark and hope that you'll get a lot out of it. We think that training is really valuable. And I'm going to turn this over to our presenter here. If you have any questions, he will be available afterwards. Answer some questions quickly, and we'll go from there. There is a sign-up sheet going around. We would like everyone to sign them just so we know how many came. There's also coffee in back if you are interested. Thank you.
All right, hi everybody. Oh. I think that's too close to me, so I'll hold it here. Good morning, everybody. My name's Frank Ingardona. I was a Rockford police officer for 25 years, retired from there, coached football for 3 years at Lutheran, where I'm coaching again now because I wasn't busy enough. And I've been at the county for the past 9 years as their training director. I go out and I do these talks, so it's called SAFE training, situational awareness for everybody. I'm 6'2", 195 pounds of pure muscle. I don't need it from you. All right. But I use this stuff every day, right? My background is judo, jiu-jitsu. I used to own Rockford kickboxing and jiu-jitsu. Been training, fighting my whole life. But as we all know, as we get older, I still fight, but it's out of bed every morning, right? So I'm going to tell you things that I train police officers all over the nation with, things that we use all the time. A lot of stuff you probably already know. Other stuff will be new to you. Take what you can. I just saw the light, sorry. I was getting worried for a minute. It was good. Take what you can with you, bring it home, share it with your family. There are some videos in here that, for the younger ones, just so you know. Okay, so I don't have a clicker, so Justin is my clicker now. So when I do this, he's going to expand the thing. This is a video I'm going to let you watch.
This is an awareness
You turn
test.
the sound up.
How many passes does the team in white make? The answer is 13. But did you see the moonwalking bear?
So if you look to the right, you'll see him coming right into the middle. All right, so the reason I show that, if you haven't seen something like that, you missed the bear, right, because you were watching the ball. So the reason I show that is predators are the ball. So a lot of times out in public, out in the parking lot, in the middle of the street, different places, they're going to try to get all your attention. They're going to use big arm movements. They're going to be loud because they want you to pay attention to them. They're the ball. And you're going to miss what's going on around them. So I've spoke to over 39,000 people with this program. I had a woman come up to me in the store and talk to me and say, hey, I was at one of your classes and it helped. So, excuse me. So I asked her, I said, well, tell me the story. She was on 173 at TJ Maxx. It was getting dark out. She was walking out to her car and a woman approached and said, ma'am, can I talk to you? I have a question for you. And she knew that was the ball. She went to her car, got in, locked the door, cracked the window, started her car, and she wanted to hear because the woman was still talking to her. And she's going, don't leave, don't leave, don't leave. Let me talk to you. And as she looked around, a van with 2 guys in it tried to pull in to block her. And she was able to get out. So she said if she wouldn't have understood that whole ball thing, she would have been paying more attention to that woman and never would have saw what was coming. All right, so that's the reason I do that. The next thing I talk about is complacency, fatigue, distractions. Most dangerous thing you guys did today so far? Drove here. More people get hurt and killed driving cars than anything else. But we become complacent, right? We've been doing it so long, we think we can talk on these stupid things, right? Text on these things. Pay attention to these things while we're driving a 3,000-pound bullet. If you are using your phone while driving, it's not if, it's when something bad is going to happen. Smart man once told me a rolling ball is always followed by a running child, right? If you don't see the ball, you're not going to see that child. In Illinois, if you get into a fatal accident or a major injury accident, we can confiscate your phone and look through it to see if you were on it when this accident occurred. And if you were, then it goes from an accident to an on purpose. And that brings a lot of years, right? So put the phones down. Are you still pressing buttons, Justin? Did I do this? Thanks for popping. Passengers is another thing when we're driving, right? And I catch myself doing it, and I have to check myself every time. We're such polite people, we look at each other when we talk. So again, I'm driving a 3,000-pound Bullet, and I'm having a conversation with the person next to me. My eyes aren't on the road. We talk with our mouths, we hear with our ears. We can have a conversation as we're watching traffic, right? You can still talk to people. Green means? Green means? You're all wrong. Green means caution. Here's what I mean by that. When I'm driving, if I have a green light, I slow down and I look both ways because I don't trust none of you. Right? I've seen way too many cars run red lights because they're not paying attention. So I have to pay attention for everybody. Right? So I'll slow down, I'll make sure it's clear, and I'll go. If I'm at a red light and it turns green, I can't believe that I'm in NASCAR and I need to punch it off the line and beat the guy next to me, right? I take a second, make sure everybody trying to beat that yellow is through, and then I go. You might lose 1 or 2 seconds to your destination, right? But if you get in a car accident, you're going to lose a lot more. Reactionary distance vehicle placement. If your car is here and I pull up, I will leave a quarter car distance between us, right? So that way, if something happens, I can get out if I need to. So my better half, she came home one day and said the 3 words that every man likes to hear, right? She looked me in the eyes and she went, "You were right." Oh, melted my heart. It was beautiful, right? I said, "What happened?" She was at Perryville and Harrison, not paying attention, pulled up right on the bumper of the car in front of her. Other cars pulled up, light turned green. The guy in the front car opens his hood. They're all stuck. She's got to wait to get around him. And that's the best case scenario, right? Leave yourself some distance. 1 in 4 car accidents are texting and driving. People say that won't be me. 1 in 300 million chance of winning the Mega Millions. And people go, "Hey, you never know, I got a shot," right? If you are using that phone, there's going to be some problems. Fatigue driving is as dangerous as drunk driving, right? Anyone in here fallen asleep while driving a car? Yeah. I was on midnight shift, 2 in the morning, fell asleep and hit a guy's mailbox. Yeah, that's awfully embarrassing, right? You have to go wake up the family and get the information. "Hey, I ran over your mailbox." This is what I tell all the officers I train. If you start feeling tired, get out, walk around, drink some coffee, whatever you have to do, slap yourself around. I don't care what you do, but do something, because you try to fight it while driving that vehicle, sleep's going to win, right? So pay attention to that.
Stupid videos.
Watch this guy's eyes. How long was he asleep? Right? And the elephant in the room is no seatbelt, right? If you look at the driver's compartment there, if he had a seatbelt on, he'd have been fine. But he didn't. If you don't wear a seatbelt, shame on you. I don't know many people that don't, but as police officers, we've seen the accidents. We've seen the minor accidents that people could have walked away, yet they were ejected because they didn't have a seatbelt on. So wear your seatbelt. All right, the AIM principle we talk about. Awareness, image, mindset. So awareness is a lot of the stuff I'm talking about today, right? Image is huge. This is a big thing to remember, right? Image. How do you carry yourself in public? How do other people see you? So is there any military people in here? Right? Military, they taught you how to walk. Not because they were bored and they had nothing else to do. They taught you how to walk to show an image, right? You walk with that thumb and finger over the opposite foot, and you walk with your chin up and your chest out, and you pay attention to what you're doing. That's how you walk. It portrays a strong image. If you pay attention to people, which I do out in public, I read people all the time, right? I'm always watching. There's people that walk like this. I've seen people that walk like this. Hang on, this whole thing is killing me, right? People that walk like this. You ever see that? The no arm swing people? And you're like, what the? Right? You catch them, you're like, that's weird. And it kind of catches your foot. My favorite is the same arm saying leg people. Right? So pay attention when you're out there, and you'll see different walks, and you're like, right? So when we're out in public, we walk confident. If we see someone that our spidey senses start to flicker, right? We're like, ooh. I don't turn away. I look at them. I see you, right? I notice you. I'm probably not the one you want to test. You might want to look for someone else, right? Because I'm aware. Now, I'm not telling you that you're walking by people and you'd be like, no, we don't make things worse, but we do pay attention. I see you, okay? Mindset, that is made up of three things. So mindset is made up of awareness, decisiveness, willingness. Awareness, again, we're talking about. The big word here I talk about, decisiveness. Make a decision. Nobody makes good decisions when you're scared or startled. So, if we don't follow the first thing, being aware, if I get out of my car in a parking lot and I'm not paying attention, and then somebody is right in my face yelling or talking to me, I'm scared, I'm startled. I'm not going to make a good decision. If I see them coming from across the way, I can start to make a decision on what I'm going to do. Okay? So, make a decision. Always look into a space before you enter it. Always look into a space before you enter it. When you pull into a parking lot, before you get out of your car, look, what do I see? Before you walk out of a store, what do I see? Before I go into anywhere, before I get into my car, I look, what do I see? Right? So if we look into spaces before we enter them, we will be ready for what happens. We already do it with traffic, hopefully. Hopefully nobody just walks across streets without looking both ways, right? Now I'm just saying, make your gaze a little further. Look for that predator. Look for that thing that might cause a problem. The woman at Harrison Mobile, 6:37 in the morning, she pulls in, jumps out to go get her coffee and stuff for the day, jumps back in her car and takes off. She's at Mulford and Newburgh when the guy in her back seat pops up. She didn't lock her doors. She didn't pay attention. She was in a hurry. It was a cold day. Guy was walking by and got in her back seat on the floorboard, right? And she didn't look. Pay attention. Pay attention. Look into a space before you enter. Make a decision, right or wrong. The road is littered with flight. Those who couldn't make a decision. I love that quote. We've all been there, driving down the street, and that squirrel runs. You're like, he's going like, you're going to just go one way or the other. And that's what I'm telling you. Make a decision. So, the way our brain is made up, the frontal lobe, we make conscious decisions. We make good decisions. We take time to figure things out. But when we're scared or startled, we use our animal brain back here, right? And the big ones, and I'm sure you've heard of this, fight, flight. Has everyone heard of them too? Right? Fight or flight. Them are the two big ones that everyone talks about. But there's two little hidden ones that people don't talk about. And that's freeze and submit. Freeze and submit. Them are bad ones. You don't want to freeze. You don't want to submit to bad things. Fight, flight, great. Fight if you have to. Get away if you can. Right? But to freeze and submit, that's dangerous. You'll see in this next video. So if you look at the guy in the hat, he's watching the guy with no shirt on. He sees him. The minute the guy with no shirt on looks at him, he turns his head. Round one goes the guy with no shirt. He puts a bottle in his hand, getting ready for a fight. The guy sits down. Round two goes to him. As he gets close, the guy leans back, submits completely. Round three goes to him, and now the guy sits way too close to him. And I think we all know what's about to happen. Bang. Okay. So people see this video and they go, holy cow, that guy had no clue what was going on. Oh no, he knew what was going on. He accepted it. He accepted that he was going to be a victim. Don't ever accept that. What could he have done? You can stop. He could have got up, walked away. There were other people around, right? And if I get up and I start walking away and the guy goes, give me your bag, or I'm going to, okay, take my bag. But don't hit me in the face with a beer bottle first, right? It's important that we understand if we're in danger and we make good decisions. Sitting down and submitting was not a good decision. He should have realized he was in trouble. All right, so we stay aware of our surroundings, head up, eyes scanning when we're walking. Be prepared, car lines, pepper spray. Anyone here carry pepper spray? No? All right. If you do, or if somebody you know does, two things. One, the aerosol will go bad, so every 3-4 months, go outside, not into the wind, not towards anybody you love. Give it a little squirt, make sure it still works, right? The other thing is it does you no good at the bottom of your purse. I know people that carry it and it's in their purse somewhere, and where's your pepper spray? Oh, I don't know, it's in my purse somewhere. Well, not doing you any good, right? What's the most dangerous time of the day? Anytime? Good answer. Huh. Most dangerous part of town? Anytime, right? Here's the thing. People go, oh, it's getting dark out, or, oh, I'm in a bad part of town, I better. Sunday morning, 10 a.m., Cherryvale Mall. Doesn't sound very scary, does it? Running gun battle through Macy's. Yeah. So, time of day doesn't matter. Where you're at doesn't matter. Crime can happen anywhere. Predators can be anywhere, right? So, pay attention to that. Car alarms, too. A lot of our cars now have the button on them, right? The panic button. Good thing to have in your hand when you're walking out to your car. Something startles you, something scares you, get sound. Predators don't like sound. They don't like attention being brought to them. They want you to be quiet and just go with the flow, right? Go with what they have planned. No, be loud. Get things started. Also with car alarms, if you have a garage you park in or you park in your front driveway, go to your bedroom and test it. If it reaches, good thing to have on your nightstand next to your bed, right? You wake up, you hear something scary, get sound going. Always have a plan, know your exit strategies. This is very important. Everywhere you go, you should have a plan on what if something happens? What do I do, right? When I go out to restaurants, I always look, scan, see where the secondary exit is. As police officers, we always sit with our back to the wall, facing the door, because we like to read people, right? A buddy of mine, police officer in Rhode Island, was the first person at the scene at the Great White disaster. So Great White was an old rock and roll band. They were playing in a bar in Rhode Island. I have video of this, but I won't put it on because it's disturbing to see. But in the video, there's a clock on it, and the band's playing, the bar's packed, and you see the back of where the band is start on fire. 30 seconds in, they're still playing. And you see the fire coming up over their head. Finally, 30 seconds in, they realize, uh-oh, their pyrotechnics started something on fire. And then everyone started panicking. There were people, the people videoing in the crowd, still cheering 30 seconds on, right? With the flames and the smoke filling this building. So 101 people died in this fire. What my buddy told me is, at the front double doors, there were piles of bodies because we're creatures of habit. Nobody had a plan for this. So they're in there cheering, drinking, hey, this is great. And when danger hit, they all turned and ran right back to the way they came in because we're creatures of habit. And they all piled up at that door. They couldn't get out. There were doors along both sides. In the back, there was big plate windows at one area. Nobody threw anything through, climbed out. The workers and the band got out because they knew the area. Some of the locals that were there got out. They knew. They found a lot of people in the bathrooms, which were a dead end. There was no exit. So before you go into places, before you go, make a little plan. What would I do? What would I do? Go ahead, pass that. I'll talk about that later. Don't give personal information over the phone. We all know this, right? Unless it's your car warranty, then it's real important. I'm kidding. You get these robocalls all the time, so forget about it. But the one I want to talk about is don't allow anyone into your home unless you made the appointment. So here's a trend going on in Rockford. It was going on a few years ago, and it just happened again. Guy shows up at a woman's door, knocks on the door. He's got a hard hat. He's got a yellow vest. He's got a little kit with him. He's got a portable radio. She answers the door. Hi, can I help you? He goes, yeah, ma'am, I'm from the water department. He goes, we have a contamination in the neighborhood. He goes, I just left your neighbors. She's got a contamination. We had to shut her water down. I need to know, is there anyone using shower, water, drinking anything right now? And she goes, no, it's just me. He goes, okay, do you have any animals? Any dogs drinking water? You need to pick it up right away. No, I don't have any dog. Okay. So he says something on the radio. He goes, all I need to do is come in. Kitchen faucet will be fine. He goes, we run the water for about 5 minutes. Then I'll take a sample with my kit, and I'll let you know if you're one of the lucky ones or not. Okay. They walk in. They talked. She said he was a very nice guy. Conversation. He finally gets his little, she said she heard something come over the portable, but she didn't know what it was said. He gets a vial out, goes like this with some dye in it, shakes it. He goes, holy cow. He goes, you're one of the lucky ones. He goes, your water's not contaminated like your neighbors. You're good to go. Continue using it. You have no worries. Oh, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. And he leaves. A little while later, she goes into her bedroom, ransacked, all her jewelry, money, everything's stolen. What this guy's doing is he is an accomplice. And when he's given him clues saying it's all clear, he leaves the door ajar and he goes in and steals everything he can. Again, best case scenario, that they just stole stuff and left, right? It could have been a lot worse. They're not dumb. Predators are not dumb. This is their craft. This is how they make money. This is how they get their drugs and alcohol. This is it. So they go through a lot to figure out how to dupe you. We've all driven around Rockford. What do we see about on every corner? People begging, right? They have signs. Whatever the sign of the day is, veteran, whatever they can work on your heartstrings, that's what they do with their signs, right? And they want you to hand money out your window to them. Nothing good comes from that. Do not hand money out your window. I pull up, they look at me, they don't scare me, again, because I'm 6'2", 195 of pure muscle. Right? Right. So they don't scare me, but they scare my sister, they scare my mom, right? I mean, scare them. They won't even look. They're scared because there's some aggressive ones out there. There are plenty of charities in Rockford that you can give money to if you want to help people. Handing money out the window is not one of them. Why are they still there? Because people are handing them money. If nobody handed them money, guess what? They wouldn't be there. But people keep doing it. I see it every time. Every time I'm in a light where there's somebody, I see people handing money out the window. There was a guy they talked to, was doing it, got in a car, was driving, they pulled him over, they talked to him, and they asked him why. Why do you do this? And he said, it's my job. He goes, I wake up every morning, I don't shower, I get my hair all crazy, I put the dirtiest clothes on I can, I make the sign of the day, and I go out. He goes, my goal is to make anywhere from $200 to $400 a day. If it takes me 3 hours, it's a great work day. If it takes me 10 hours, that's a long work day. It's raining, right? He goes, but if I can do that, then I'm happy, I'm doing well. No taxes. Who in here that works doesn't pay taxes? Don't raise your hand. Don't raise your hand, right? We all work, we all pay taxes. They don't. They take the money you got taxed and you hand it to them, and that's that. So be careful with that. Ladies, all right, the shopping cart, the little basket, not for your purse. It's for your screaming children, right? So they can't grab things off of the shelves. Just so you know, there are teams of thieves that work all of our shopping centers. And when I say teams of thieves, I don't mean like guys with a black mask going, I'm a thief, right? It's women with children, it's families, and they act like they're shopping. And they just walk around the store, getting stuff off, and they wait for you to turn around, start reading something. They'll take the wallet right out of your purse, the purse right out of the cart. I had a woman I was talking to, she goes, I thought I was slick. She goes, I had my purse zipped up and had it strapped in with the little baby strap. She goes, I turned around, my whole cart was gone. They took the cart, a couple aisles over, stole the purse, right? Keep the purse on you, zipped up. Don't make it easy. If you make it too easy, they'll keep doing it, right? So I was at Schnucks, and I'm in an aisle, and a woman pushes her cart up with her purse right there, wide open, and she goes, ah, and she walked to a completely different aisle because she forgot something. And there I stand guarding her purse. Right? Nobody better take this on my watch, right? Yeah. She comes back, smiles at me, and off she goes, and I'm thinking, I mean, obviously trustworthy, right? So I get it, but you really don't know. Keep the purse on you, zipped up. Gas, here's another thing, right? We all do the same thing. We put the nozzle in our gas tank and we watch the numbers fly and we go, I can't believe I'm paying this much for gas. It won't change. Put it in, turn around, pay attention to what's going on around you. We have video of a person getting gas, watching the numbers here, and on the opposite side, guy crawls up, opens the door, reaches in, grabs purse, cell phone, whatever they can get, shuts the door, and off they go. And they never know, right? Pay attention to what's around you. Walk around. There's another video I saw. Guy was filling his tank, and he's watching the numbers like this. It was in a four-way intersection. An accident occurred, and the one car veered off and smeared his car right off the nozzle, right? He was like, what the? Thank God it went that way and not into him. So, pay attention. All right, people hiding in parking lots, I talk about this. This is why we're aware, we see them. People that hide in parking lots, they want to startle you. And we see this all the time. They hide behind cars, and when you pull up and get out, they pop up and, I'm hungry, I haven't eaten, give me some money, blah, 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 and they want you to just go here, right? So we need to pay attention. Look into a space before you enter. No is a word that should never be negotiated, period. Period, end of discussion. No is no, right? So you're at Home Depot and you're putting something heavy into the car and you're struggling, and I walk up and I go, can I help you with that? And you go, no, I'm good. That should be the end of it. I should say, okay, and I walk away. If I go, oh, don't be silly, I'm a good person. Don't be silly, I do this all the time, let me help you. The answer you gave me, no, didn't fit my agenda. Whatever my agenda was, my agenda could be as innocent as I want to be a good person. Or my agenda could be I want to get close enough to grab your purse. I want to get close enough to grab you. Right? So, no, if somebody's negotiating the word no with you, walk away. Back away, because something bad's about to happen. All right, many hands make light work. If you see something, say something. This is a huge thing. If you pull up into the parking lot, you come here every Sunday, or you come here every whatever day it is, and one day you pull in and you see somebody parked in the parking lot, right? And you're like, I've never seen that car before, I've never seen that person before. Come in and say something. Talk to people, go, God, I saw this car back there and I don't know who, and somebody else go, you know what, I saw that same car yesterday. Oh, now we start seeing a pattern. I did this talk for 200 people at a big bank. We're on the second floor. I get to this portion, and I say this, and a woman raises her hand. She goes, we've had a guy parked out by our dumpster for the past 2 weeks. And then I hear other people, and they're like, oh, I've seen him too. He's scary. And I'm like, anybody call the police? No. I mean, it's only a bank. Right. After my talk, I go out and I knock on his window. He became homeless, had all his stuff in the car, was scared, didn't know where to go, so I helped him, right? But he couldn't stay there. That's not a place you can stay, right? So talk to other people. Mental rehearsal drills. You heard me talk about this already, the what if of training. What would I do if? What would I do if I was in here and a fire started? Or I heard gunfire, or whatever the situation is, what would I do? Have that in your mind already, because you'll react quicker, right? When I was a young officer and I pulled people over, not very often, but when I did, I would automatically do the what if of training. What do I do if? What do I do if this person gets out and runs? What do I do if he gets out and comes at me? What do I do if he gets out and starts shooting at me? And I walk up. What do I do if there's somebody in his back seat? What do I do if he has a gun on his lap? Hi, sir, how you doing today? Can I see your license insurance? But I get prepared for whatever it has to be. The what if of training is very important. What would I do if there was a problem? So I put myself in a situation and I find an answer. This woman obviously never did the what if of training. And she never looked into a space before she entered it, because this guy walked by her 3 or 4 times. He has a knife in his hand and he's going to rob her of her purse. I love the little girl because she slips her backpack and is like, Ma! It gets better. She's still running. He's still trying to get that purse. Where's her daughter, you ask? Look in the lower left-hand corner. Mom, do you love me? All right, you can stop it. I guarantee if I could get to that woman before this incident happened and say, I'm going to put you in a situation, give me your top 3 responses. Guarantee nowhere in her top 3 is abandon my child and run. Humans don't do that. But she did, because nobody makes good decisions when you're scared or startled. She freaked out. She didn't know what to do. And she literally ran away from her child. Pay attention. They only want your property, give it to them. They want you, then we fight, right? If I'm unarmed and I'm walking out of here and somebody points a gun at me and says, give me your wallet, I go like this. Here it is, I drop it, and I walk away. It's all yours, enjoy it. I never hand anybody anything, because that breaks that personal barrier and they can grab you, right? I don't throw it and get them mad at me. All I do, drop it, and I walk away. Enjoy yourself. And I keep walking, right? If that person really wanted my money, that's where they would have go, right? If I'm walking away and they start coming towards me, well, then they didn't want the money to begin with, did they? There was something else on their mind. That's when I'll fight. Property, one thing. In rehearsal drills, make a plan. I handled a burglary in progress. I get there, an older woman is standing in her driveway and she's shaking. I pull up, I jump out, I go, ma'am, are you okay? She goes, yeah, and I look at her door and it's kicked off the hinges. I go, wait here, I'll be right back. I take out my gun, I start going like this, and I hear her little voice from behind go, oh, I already checked, there's nobody in there. I go back and I go, what kind of gun do you have? She goes, I don't have a gun. I go, I went in there without one, right? And I said, why? Why'd you go in there? And here was her reasoning. She goes, my great-grandmother gave me some artifacts that are priceless to me. I had to see if they were still there. Put property over personal protection, right? They were still there, by the way. But we can't worry about property, right? If that's what they want, we let them take it. You go ahead and click a few times. Be loud. I've talked about that. Keep clicking. Make yourself a harder target. How do you walk? We talked about that. They don't want to work hard. They don't want attention drawn to them. Any noise you can make. So I've been in parking lots where I've heard car alarms go off. I automatically look that way. That's just built into me, right? If I'm in a parking lot and I'm walking and I hear somebody screaming, you better believe I'm going to go towards it. And I'm going to give it my all to try to help. And there's a lot of people out there like me that will do the same thing. Don't take that away from us, right? I'd hate to walk into a store, walk out, get my car, and then read in the paper the next day that there was a robbery around the same time that I was there. Be loud. All right, so we look for clues in human behavior, read body language. Facial expressions are huge. No matter where you're from, what part of the country, what your nationality, what your race is, what your gender, none of that matters because happy is happy, sad is sad, scared is scared. Facial expressions. I read them. So I train, you can click one more time. I train our officers, face, hands, waistband, surrounding area. That's how we read people when they approach us. Face tells me your intention. Hands carry it out. Waistbands, where a lot of people carry weapons. Surrounding area, are there anybody else with you? Right? And it that quick. Everyone that approaches me, that's how I read. Face, hands, waistband, surrounding area. Right? Happy's happy's, mad's mad. When I'm sitting in a restaurant, I'm reading people as they come through the door. Most of the time, people are happy, right? If it's a mom with small kids, she got the diaper bag and grabbing it. She's tired, frustrated, right? And the dad's just walking behind. Right? So I'll read that. But I'm looking for that person when they walk in and I see the tension in their jaw and their eyes darting and then they're making these fist movements with their hand. Holy cow, what's going on? Right? I'm keeping an eye on this person. Who is he mad at? Hopefully they're not sitting right by me, but something's wrong. Right? So I'm getting that clue. All right, recognize your problems laying in wait. You can click through a couple. No, go back. Go back, go back. Justin! Justin! That's why I use a clicker. All right, anyway, problems laying in wait. That's okay, Justin, leave. Here's a big thing on this. When you go home, not when it's raining, but when you go home and it's a nice day, walk around your house and think like a criminal. how would I get in? How would I break into my home if I wanted to? If you have sliding glass doors and you don't have bottom locks or poles in it, they're pretty easy to get in. Windows left open, shrubs, overgrown, lights. My house, I have motion lights, right? They work really well. If any police officer knows you've been caught by a motion light once or twice trying to sneak up to a house, right? And that thing pops on and you're like, ooh, because you don't know if somebody flipped the switch or not, right? Motion lights are great. Timers, right? I have 5 or 6 timers in my house on different lamps all over. And they're all set to different times that they come on and they go off. So when I leave my home, right, if I go on vacation, I just got back from a couple, the lights are going on and off. People don't know if anyone's there or not. Just little things you can do to make your home a little more fortified, right? Deadbolts, alarms, audible alarms, dogs. I had a 14-and-a-half-year-old Akita that we just had to put down, but she was 100 pounds of pure mean. You didn't come into my house unless she let you in, right? So things like that. Okay. So social media, video games, skate parks, malls, sporting events, parties, drugs, alcohol, violence, and gangs. What do all these things have in common? The attack on our children, right? The attack on our children. If you have young children, make no mistake, they are being hunted daily on social media, on every social media you can think of. There are predators on every one trying to find ways to make your children make poor decisions. That's what they do. Video games in your home now see into your home with cameras, hear into your home, and they are playing people from all over the world. They have no clue who they are, right? There's a thing called swatting that they will record your child's voice over these video games, and they will splice together certain things. They will call the police with that, and the recording will say, you know, if they're playing a shooter's game, they can get them to say they're going to shoot people, kill people, different things like that. And then they'll give an address. Whatever if they're mad at some other kid, they'll use their address, otherwise they'll just use any address. And then what the 911 operator gets is, I'm going to kill these people in my home. Don't send the police, I'll kill them too. And guess what? SWAT team comes out and it's a big ordeal, and they go up to people's doors and they try to make contact. People come out like, what's going on? Because there's nothing going on at their house, okay? Predators. So, who in here has young children? Anybody? Okay. Who in here's young children have phones? Okay. Who in here's young children pay for their phones? Huh. So, as the people paying for that phone, do you have the right to look through it when you want to? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, my son Dario went to Augustana College to play football. 19 years old. We all have iPhones. I just get an iPhone, right? So I tell everybody, hey, accept me on Find Friends. That way I know where you are, right? Dario calls me and goes, Dad, why do you need to know where I'm at? I go, oh, I don't, Dario. You're 19. You're a grown-up. I said, when you get your new number, let me know what it is so we can connect. I said, because I'm shutting yours off today. Oh, whoa. No, I'll accept you. I bet you will. Yeah. He's 25 now, living in Austin, Texas. Just got him off my plane. Making more money than me. I'm like, okay, come on. Right? But here's the thing. I don't want to snoop. I don't want to, whatever. But I know when you're driving home and I can't get a hold of you and your location hasn't moved, guess where I'm going to start? Where I last found you, right? And I'm going to look for you there. So, not a big thing. These are a quarter of the social media things that kids are on. A quarter of it. Every one of them have predators on it. The bottom one, calculator percent, if you see that on your kid's phone, you press on it, calculator pops up, you have to hit in a certain code, and all the pictures and crap they don't want you to see is behind it. Right? And there's a lot more apps like that. Kids don't understand the dangers that are out there. I didn't when I was young. Mom, I want to walk to Northtown Mall. I lived up north. Be careful. Be careful, right? We don't have that thought process yet. We haven't seen all the bad. They're getting better because of the way the world is now. Active shooters and all that. They're paying more attention now than they were. But they just don't have it yet. So we're there to guide them. That's why we're parents, right? That's why our parents told us, don't do that, you're going to get hurt. What do you know? I got hurt, right? Oh, they do know things, right? You can go ahead and click again. There's signs that are up, don't pay attention to them. Do your research. So if you want to write this down or take a picture of it, do it. It's on YouTube, called the Dangerous Social Media Child Predator Experiment. What this is a young, good-looking kid works with parents and says, I'll talk your kid out of their house to jump in my van. And the parents go, no way, stranger danger, I've talked to my kids. They're in the van under a blanket. He's on social media talking to this 12-year-old little girl. Here she comes, little skirt, makeup on, runs out of the house, hops into his van. He reaches over, locks the door, and grabs a hold of her. Now she's scared. Now she knows she's in trouble. Even more so when her parents pop up from the back. They know how to manipulate children. That's what they do. So a few years ago in the county, our TAC unit, there are chat rooms that these creeps are in. We monitor them also. A lot of chatter going on saying there's a new girl in town, young, in this certain area. Our undercover guys go out there, they're searching for this girl. They're running plates, there's plates coming from all over, trying to find this girl also. Luckily, our guys found her. They found her and her pimp coming out of an apartment. Now, when I say pimp, a lot of people, the minute I say that word, they think Huggy Bear with the big hat and the feather and the cane, right? I'm a pimp with a big black. That's not what pimps are nowadays. Pimps are young gang members, good-looking kids, and they run girls. So what they do is they talk to these girls on social media, and they get them to understand that your parents suck, your friends suck, come hang out with us. And it doesn't start there. They bring them, they start going to parties, they start giving them alcohol, some weed, they start talking to them, pretty soon they start using violence, and then they move them. So this little girl, 13 years old, and her pimp, we get. She's been being sold for a year. She was from Atlanta. They got her in Atlanta and they move her. North Carolina, Indiana, Chicago, Rockford. A year at 12 years old, she's been a prostitute. And not of her own doing, just making bad decisions. And then these people manipulate her. And then they use violence against her. And they make her stay. It's not like third world countries that, tribes go into an area and steal kids. They talk these kids out of their home. And then they move them so they're harder to find, right? So pay attention to what your kids are doing. It's dangerous. All right, so a few quotes that I like. This one. When you rely on the actions of others, your future is determined by them. When you rely on the actions of yourself, your future is determined by you. I love that quote. What that quote says to me is If you're waiting for the United States government to fix all your woes, good luck. If you're waiting for the police to protect you and your family at all times, good luck. Not enough of us out there. I will protect my family. I will do everything I have to do to make sure my kids are raised good, my family is protected. I will earn for my family. Now, if I come into a hardship and I need a little help, okay. I need some help, okay. But I put it on my shoulders first. COVID really, really exaggerated this point, where people got used to doing this. Oh, I don't have to work? Oh, I'll take that money. Nice, right? Oh, I get to work from home? I mean, this hit my family. My son Dario worked for Meta, Facebook, in Austin, Texas, from home. I'd call him, I go, hey, what are you doing, Dario? Working. I hear something in the background, I go, what's that? Is that the TV on? Oh, yeah, we're watching a movie. I go, don't get used to this. But he did. Now, he got a new job in the office 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. But he loves it. He goes, I'm around people. It's nice. Sitting at home's never a good idea, right? So, that. If you can avoid a problem before there is a problem, there should be no problem. I see it before it happens. Before I get out of my car, I see that person. Me and Amy, we pull into Target. She's about this big. Probably that big. She gets out. I get out. I scan. I see the guy. He spots her. Here he comes. Over her head, I go, sir, we have nothing for you. Keep moving. He goes, no, I just need to talk to her. I go, you don't need to talk to anybody. Keep moving. And the louder I got, he's like, he gestured towards me. I think he said I was number one. I go, whatever. Keep going. Right? Of course, Amy looks at me. She goes, who are you yelling at? I go, you've been to my class. Pay attention. Right? We go into Target. I go, can I see a manager? A manager comes over. I go, just so you know, you have somebody aggressively approaching people in your parking lot. Right? This was years ago when they actually cared. Now they go, nothing we can do about it. Okay. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. I truly believe in this one too. All you do is sit and complain and, this stinks, I don't like this. If that's all you do, you're part of the problem. Do something to change it. Here's what I tell my own kids. If you don't like where you're at, if you don't like what you're doing, change. Do something else. Nobody should go through life hating what they do for a living. Waking up every day going, oh my God, I can't believe I got to do this. What kind of life is that? Right? Be part of the solution. Go, you know what? I think I'd rather do this. I think I'd rather do this. Amy's daughter, Emily, my stepdaughter, is dating a great kid. He's 20 years old. And he is a heavy machinery operator, making huge money at 20 years old. He sat down and talked to me. He goes, I want to be a fireman. I go, you do? He goes, yeah. He goes, I know I won't make the same money I'm making here, but that's what I think I really want to be. I go, then do it. And now he's doing it. He's going to classes and getting everything ready. It's important. All right, so tip your server, return your shopping cart, pick up a piece of trash, hold the door for the person behind you, let somebody into your lane. Be nice. Not hard to be nice. It really isn't. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. If I hold the door for you, you don't have to say thank you. You can just walk in. And I should not chase you. Hey, huh? How about a little thanks here? No. No. I do that because that's what I want to do. Not because I'm expecting something from you. If you do things to expect something from people, you're not doing it from your heart, right? Be nice. It was winter. It was probably 158,000 degrees below zero. So it was cold. I'm not lying. Cold. Me and Amy walk into Schnucks. There's no carts, and everyone's standing around like this, right? So I run out. I grab a bunch of carts. I run them in. People take them. More carts. I run out. More carts. I run out. My fingers, toes, and nose and ears, I think, are going to fall off I run back in with a cart, and there's this little, you look at, and I run back out, and I get a cart, and I come in. I'm like, holy crap, I'm freezing, right? I find Amy, and she goes, where have you been? I go, I think I work here. But it's okay. It's okay to be nice. It really is. Don't ever get caught in an elevator with me. Yeah. Here, what are the rules in the elevator? You get in the elevator, and you either watch the numbers, or you look at the floor. That's it. Right? I think it's posted in the elevator. I get in and I go, hey, how you doing today? How's everything? You can't talk. You're in an elevator. I was on a train in Italy, in Cinque Terre, and I get on and everyone, right? It's quiet. I'm like, is everybody having fun? What's going on? And we all start talking, and by the end of the train, everybody was laughing, talking, met people from Denmark, met people from Switzerland. It was cool, right? It's okay. It's all right to be nice. All right, I'll leave you with these 3 things. 1, always know who's around you and what they are doing. I tell kids this constantly. I can't tell you how many kids I took to juvenile detention that looked at me and said, I didn't know he was going to do that. Here's another thing I tell kids. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. You hang around with trouble, you're going to get in trouble. I always try to hang around with people a little smarter, right? A little more energetic, because that rubs off on you. You hang around with slugs, you'll be a slug. So it's important. Know who's around. I still tell my kids this, Dario in Texas. Know who you're out with. Because if you have a buddy who's a knucklehead who likes to get in fights, you're going to have problems somewhere along the line. Right? Know who you hang around with. Next, do one nice thing every day. At least one. Try to do something nice. Not hard to do. I usually find more than one, right? But just smile at people. You don't know what people are going through any given day. And maybe your smile changes it, helps them out just a little bit. I smile at people. If you pull up next to me in a car, I'll look at you because I like to know who's around me. If you look at me, I'll smile at you. How you doing? Whatever. But I like to know who's around me, right? And I smile at people. Last one, make your bed. Yeah. Who in here makes their bed every day? Yeah. Right? It's your first task of the day. You complete it. Right? And ladies with the pillows, I got it figured out now, but I don't know just how to arrange them all. My father-in-law he looked into the bedroom, he goes, man, your bed looks short. I go, oh no, it's a king. It's just all the pillows that are lined up. It's 10 minutes before bed, 10 minutes in the morning to get them all lined up. But it's okay. Make your bed. You start out with the right attitude, you walk out. If you're having a bad day, you come home, the bed's made. Orderliness is huge. And orderliness is something you have to pass on with your children. You have to, right? So I lost my wife 13 years ago. She was a firefighter. I had 2 boys that played sports. My house was the meeting place. My house, all the boys hung out at my house, right? It was crazy. I have a mat in my basement. We'd fight, and it was out of control, right? Boys everywhere. But I had to train them, right? So I'd call them, boys, come on all here. My 3 nephews, a bunch of football. Come on down here. You'll gather around. I go, how do you think them dishes get rinsed off and placed in the dishwasher? Of course, one of them goes, Magic. I go, if my name was Magic, right? I go, no. Rinse them off, put them in the dishwasher. Clean up after yourself. I have a pool. Wet towels laying around. They come in, they go in the washing machine. Clean up after yourselves. And I make all the kids that hang out at my house clean up after themselves. Orderliness is huge. Make your bed, keep orderliness. This last video I'm going to show you is about 6 minutes long, and we'll be done.
Hello, I'm Spencer Collier, Director of the Alabama Department of Homeland Security. Across the nation, we have seen an escalation in active shooter events in workplaces, schools, and entertainment venues. I encourage you to be prepared and remember to run, hide, and fight should this happen to you. For more information, visit our website at dhs.alabama.gov.
It may feel like just another day at the office, but occasionally, life feels more like an action movie than reality. The authorities are working hard to protect you and to protect our public spaces. But sometimes bad people do bad things. Their motivations are different. The warning signs may vary, but the devastating effects are the same. And unfortunately, you need to be prepared for the worst. If you were ever to find yourself in the middle of an active shooter event, your survival may depend on whether or not you have a plan. The plan doesn't have to be complicated. There are 3 things you could do that make a difference: run, hide, fight. First and foremost, if you can get out, do. Always try and escape or evacuate, even when others insist on staying. Encourage others to leave with you, but don't let them slow you down with indecision. Remember what's important, you, not your stuff. Leave your belongings behind and try to find a way to get out safely. Trying to get yourself out of harm's way needs to be your #1 priority. Once you are out of the line of fire, try to prevent others from walking into the danger zone and call 911. If you can't get out safely, you need to find a place to hide. Act quickly and quietly. Try to secure your hiding place the best you can. Turn out lights, and if possible, remember to lock doors. Silence your ringer and vibration mode on your cell phone. And if you can't find a safe room or closet, try to conceal yourself behind large objects that may protect you. Do your best to remain quiet and calm. As a last resort, if your life is at risk, whether you are alone or working together as a group, fight. Act with aggression. Improvise weapons. Disarm him. And commit to taking the shooter down, no matter what. Try to be aware of your environment. Always have an exit plan. Know that in an incident like this, victims are generally chosen randomly. The event is unpredictable and may evolve quickly.
Tyson, get my back.
The first responders on the scene are not there to evacuate or tend to the injured. They are well trained and are there to stop the shooter. Your actions can make a difference for your safety and survival. Be aware and be prepared. And if you find yourself facing an active shooter, there are 3 key things you need to remember to survive. Run, hide, fight.
All right, good. So it's a good video, right? Explains. Get out if you can. If you're by an exit, get out, by all means. If you're in somewhere not by an exit, just running towards an exit, you might not know where that shooter is. So if you can barricade yourself, they say hide, because it rhymes better, run, hide, fight, but barricade right behind things that will possibly stop rounds. What we did find with active shooters are they don't spend a lot of time trying to break into places. They just move through. They want to do as much damage as possible, as quick as possible, right? And then fight. So we were just at a conference where they talked about the Pulse nightclub shooting. 300 people in a nightclub, guy comes in, starts shooting, everybody scatters. A lot of people got shot. A lot of people got killed. If any of them would have changed their mindset to go towards instead of away, they would have stopped a lot of the killing, right? I've been training fighting most of my life, right? So if Justin comes at me alone, he's going to have a hard time. But him and him come at me makes it a little easier. You two come, right? Now you overwhelm and you grab limbs and stop the killing. But that's hard to do. That's very hard to do, right? All right, so this is Sheriff Caruana. He's the one that allows me to come out here and do this free of charge. Spoke to 39,000 people, and I think it's very important. So if you ever get a chance, go up, shake his hand, look him in the eye, and tell him, Sheriff, that Frank Ingardona, you really got something there. Not asking a lot, right? You throw me something. That's my presentation. Thank you so much. If there are questions, I can answer. Yep. I'm also mostly deaf, too, so. Yep.
From home, wherever, and the red lights come up. Do you stop or do you not stop?
From a marked squad car?
Or unmarked, where there's a lot of them.
Usually,
I
yeah.
drive an Explorer. Every police officer has an Explorer.
Right, right. Most of them are marked. If it's a marked squad, obviously, yes. Mm-hmm. If your spidey senses are going off and you just are scared, then dial 911 and say, I'm on this road and I'm getting pulled over. I can't tell if it's a squad car or not. They'll tell you, yeah, it is. You better pull over. Or, no, we don't have anything going on that street. Get to a well-lit area, go to a gas station, pull in somewhere where you feel safe.
Okay.
Yeah. But don't use that excuse that, yeah, well, I didn't know. Man, lights all over.
My first instinct is, yes, I should stop, but.
Yeah.
And I guess the other question is, you see our building here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty open.
Sure.
Sunday mornings, we have 4 doors unlocked.
Sure.
Suggestions.
So there is a lot of people don't know about it, and we are starting. I also own a business called S.A.F.E Training Systems, where we train police officers in tactics, but we also go out and train churches and we train businesses. Not a lot of people know about it, but the federal government has $40 million sitting there for churches to get. You can apply for a grant and get $150,000 towards safety and security of your building. The way I found out about this is the Jewish synagogue, David Quimby called me years ago and he said, hey, can you come over and just take a walk through our church and give us an insight? So I did. And nice guy, and I said, I changed this, this, and this, and we started working together. He got a hold of Homeland Security. They sent a guy out. We did another walkthrough. And the Homeland Security guys the one said, do you know about these grants you can get? We're like, no. So David Quimby was like one of the first in this area to get this grant. And he said it was horrible. If anyone's ever tried to write a grant, it's horrible. And it took him forever, and he thinks he'd have it, and then they kick it back, and he had to start over. He finally got it down. David Quimby now, who is the president of the Jewish synagogue, started his own business where he goes out and gets grants for churches. And he's been very successful doing it. So if somebody in charge, I can give you his phone number, and you call him, and he'll come and talk to you and tell you there's a lot of money out there for the safety and security of your church. The synagogue put film on all their windows that they don't shatter. They have blue light system. They have cameras. They spent every penny of that $150,000 and secured their thing. The neat thing is you can get that grant twice a year. So it's amazing the stuff you can get from it. Now, we've talked to some churches, and they're like, oh, we don't want anything to do with the federal government. Okay, I get it. But it's out there. And I think it's foolish to not use it to secure your building. So, anybody else?
Right, I think it's too bad we even have to have this presentation.
Yeah.
Times have changed.
They sure have.
Who would have thought?
I know. When I was a kid, I lived on Avondale, up on the north end, and I had to be home when the street lights came on. And man, I'd push it. They'd be flickering. I'm like, I know. I'd run. But I'd wake up in the morning. I'd ride my bike to the surf club and swim all day. I'd come home. Mom, I'm going up the Northtown Mall, crossing busy street. My kids grew up. Dad, I'm going to run out and get the mail. Hang on. All right, go ahead. I got you. It's like, holy cow. But it is what it is. And now we just have to be a little more prepared. Hopefully maybe the pendulum will swing back another way. I don't know. But yeah, right now, I was in Arizona when my phone rang, and it was my sister. And she goes, hey, I'm at Cherryvale Mall, and there's gunfire. I go, I'm in Arizona. There's nothing I can do for you. I go to a store. I've trained them. They know what to do. They know how to get. I go, if you're by an exit, get out. Yeah, Cherryvale Mall in the middle of the day. No.
I'm sorry. As a mom of a child who's getting ready to drive, what would be your biggest safety tip for new drivers out there in the world?
Put your phone on. There's a mode you can put your phone on that anyone texts you, calls you, social media, it doesn't come through. It automatically sends them a message saying, hey, I'm driving right now. I'll call you when I get to where I'm going. Trust me, I've had to do it because I'm not adult enough to not look at that stupid thing. So I had to do it because I'd go, I can ignore it, right? And it's not just kids with these phones, right? We're all like, oh, these kids and these phones. I left for work one day, forgot my phone, panicked, turned around, ran in, grabbed it. I was afraid I was going to miss what somebody had for breakfast on Facebook, right? I don't know. It irritates me that I'm so addicted to this thing. But they got us, right? They got us. When we were young officers, you go to a payphone, right? Throw a quarter in, clean it off with the Vianex, and hey, that was it. But I don't know. Yeah, so just really, and new drivers, they're good, right? Because they haven't, relaxed yet. I mean, when I turned 16, I get in my car, and I'm like, okay, let's go. And then, you know, a month later, I'm like this, putting my Saturday Night Fever 8-track in. Yeah. It didn't take long to get complacent. And then you get in an accident, and then it's back to, okay, forget about that accident. Yeah. Yes?
Giving my cynical nature, but I could imagine in the morning a group of panhandlers getting together with a director of panhandling and people being assigned to different corners, because a lot of people are at the same place all the time. And then sometimes not, sometimes there's somebody different, but then the other ones are back. Is there any organization to these people doing this, or is it everybody pretty much
They're on their own, but there's organization that this is my spot, and they'll fight over it. If you're new panhandler coming in, no, this is my corner. You don't get to stand here. And that's people go, but I feel bad. And they need money. They haven't eaten. When Miss Carly, I don't know if you know who Miss Carly is, she helps people all the time. When she comes out and says, don't give them money, it's called flying the flag, right? They put this stuff on, don't give them, it doesn't help them. And all she does is help people. We got to listen, right? So yeah, there is organization with them, but not to that extent.
The Rockford Rescue Mission has a gentleman that will go out and if you report it, because I saw somebody on the corner of Riverside and Alpine panhandling, and so I called Rockford because I saw it in one of their pieces of literature, and there's a gentleman that will go out and try to talk to these people and then try to help them.
I mean, they all know where the Rockford Rescue Mission is. I would tell them, everybody tell them. I was in Chicago, we were going to Carson Ribs. We're walking in, a guy goes, I haven't eaten, I'm starving, can you give me some money? I go, no, I'm sorry, I can't. I go in, we eat. I feel bad. I go, you know what? I go, give me a whole nother meal. Whole chicken with all the fixing, give it up, pack it up for me. I went out and I hunted this guy. I couldn't find him at first. I'm like, I'm gonna find him. And I found him. I go, sir, I bought you a whole meal at Carson's Rib. He goes, get away from me. Yeah. I go, I guess you're not hungry? And he just walked away. They don't want your money for food. They want your money for drugs, alcohol. So, yes?
Just for a long time in your role and everything like that, what is the biggest change you've seen out in the work you do? And not this work, but in the work as you're out there, the officers are out there. Societal, what has changed in the last, I don't know how long you've been doing, 19 years, whatever. What's longer than
30.
that? 30? You look so young.
The biggest change, and I've seen it go back and forth, right? In the late 80s, where it was, early 90s, late 90s, go back. But it's just respect, just disrespect for law enforcement, for other humans. People just don't care about people anymore. There's no consequences, so they don't fear, right? Me personally, I won't break the law because I fear going to prison, right? I don't want to be locked up and my freedom taken away. But when you don't have that, you do whatever you want. These young kids, they don't care. They don't care. Going to prison a lot of times gives them credit, right? Oh, I've been to prison. They get the tats and everything. It's cool. But now we're on a road that politicians, normal people are accepting it. And going, I mean, just what happened in Chicago last weekend. Hundreds of kids ran downtown, broke things, stole things, grabbed a woman trying to get in her apartment and beat her senseless. Pulled a woman out of her car, started a car on fire, and beat her. And the upcoming new mayor of Chicago came out and said, listen, I don't condone this, but I understand it. These kids need to eat. If they had more stuff to do in their neighborhood, they wouldn't be here doing this. So why would they stop? Why would they stop breaking into stores and stealing things? Not like they're breaking into food stores and grabbing bread and peanut butter. They're going into the high-end stores, stealing purses, TVs, alcohol. And he says, I understand. Now what? What do we do when the highest of the high people accept this? I don't know. I don't have the answer in case you're looking for one. I don't have it. All I know is I'll control what I can control. I'll raise my kids to respect people, to be good humans, right? And that's all we can do to try to get this balance back. I don't know how we're going to do it.
You made a comment before about being nice, opening the door, and all this, and I do that all the time. My biggest pet peeve is if I'm in a parking lot, like by Kohl's or Schnucks, and I stop, but they don't even look at you.
I know. I know.
And that's when I go, thank you, I didn't run your butt over.
I know. I know. And I, as I'm walking across, I'll wait and the car will stop, and I pick my pace up and I go, thank you, but that's me, right? But I've stopped and they just, I mean, I'm like, you don't even look? What if I wasn't paying attention? I'd run you over. But it's that entitlement. And a lot of people have that entitlement now. And that's rough. All right. Oh, thank you very much. All right.